every morning I have it on the set where it sings this song to me about good morning and da 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 da. Alright, so I am coming on today because, and I don't know if my message is going to be a positive message. It's just kind of a real message from my spirit, not right now. And so, I just wanted to talk about it, and maybe, we'll see if it's going to help anybody in the end. We will see. I don't know. I'm just really going to kind of speak on, my experience and my thought process here. So, I kind of had to come to a situation. I found out, even though, it's so funny that in the year of your age, you're thinking, okay, well, I'm this age. But by the end of the year, you actually turn a different age. And then which makes the next year, all of a sudden, you're only a year later. I don't know how to explain it, but okay, so I'm 48. And so I realized at the end of the year, I'll be 49. All right, but I feel like I just turned 48. God dog it. And now all of a sudden, I'll be 49. And then my friend calls me, two of my friends calls me and says, oh, we have to plan our 50th next year. God dog it, can I reach 49 first? Can I be 49? Can I even stay 48 for a second? Like, why do I feel like my life is rushed? It's like it's just so fast. But then when you look back, right, and you see the pictures and you notice how much time had gone, because it was a long time before you lived in this place, and it had been a long time since you did that. And, your children are grown, so obviously you're growing, you're aging, right? My gray hair shows that. My spirit didn't show it. Right? I don't feel what my body's doing and what time is saying. So, with that being said, like there's a lot of things that we all have this, we got to get to before we reach a certain age, or we got to do before, a certain time frame. So, part of that is having a house, right? So I thank God I've accomplished it, Now I want to have a bigger house. I want to have bigger land, but, probably people keep telling me, and I should explain, oh, you should be downsizing, not trying to upsize. And people always trying to explain to you how your life should go, or how you should vision your life. And then you start to think, well, maybe they're right. Well, maybe they're right. Well, maybe they're right. A lot of the things that I had thought about throughout the years, I was ashamed for having my children young and having my children unmarried. I'm very happy I did now, because I'm not even married. And what if I had never gotten married? I would never have had children, So, you think about all those little things and how everybody fits you into their box of life. And so you're trying to fit into their box of life, right? So I don't know if I would have been thinking about getting married so hard if it had not been the natural, and I hope this is the right word, trajectory of things. Like if this had not been, oh, well, you're going to grow up, you're going to get married, you're going to sit here and have this house with gated fence, all these things that you continually hear throughout your life, you just assume that should be the natural process. So when I hear that I'm going to be 50 next year and I ain't even turned 49 yet, it upset me, because obviously the natural form of my life did not work out the way I planned. Well, I didn't really plan it, I guess, but the way I thought, right? So it's funny because, I was not supposed to have any children until I was 31. And I had my first baby. I got pregnant at 17. So obviously, I didn't listen to my plan. I was supposed to have 3 children and I only had 2. I told myself that, guess what? As long as the Lord allows my body to have another child, I will have another child. Now, when you hear that you're going to reach 50 in a year, well, maybe a little over a year, but the point is, by next year, it has gotten me into a space where I just want to give up on that part of my life, right? Because I've been, and I get what my girlfriend is saying, and I get what other people are telling me, but I think it's so much energy that I've been placing throughout my years into whether I'm going to be married and will I give my husband his child, because I never knew what that was like, that I'm just ready to allow that to just not be anything. I don't want to think on it no more. I don't want to make that my goal anymore, because the goal is starting to truly fade away. I remember when I was about 18, 19, I was working as a home health aide, and I was at one of these homes where a woman, she came in, was taking care, coming to see her mom, and she was talking about how, she asked me, was I married? And I said no. And she says, oh, well, don't worry about it. Now, mind you, now I'm 19. And she says, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You will get married one day, because, and don't ever lose hope, because there's a person at my church, she's 70, and this is her first time ever getting married. And I just took that as the highest insult for my life. And I said, Lord, don't let me reach 70 and then get married. Like, I told myself I'm going to give up on it and forget about it once I hit 50, because the way that I see marriage, I guess, and that's probably a fault of mine, but the way that I see it, I saw myself raising my child with my husband. I saw myself buying a home with my husband. I saw myself having this different type of life with my husband. I don't see myself where it's like I'm now old, and I'm not old, but I mean really, and I know 50 is not old, but it's like it has a stigma. I mean, that's just a fact, right? So I'm just feeling some type of way today, you know. I mean, not today, but this is something I feel a lot, and I know that it, you know, was represented in a lot of my videos. And because I want to be real, I don't want to act like as if I'm like okay with it. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. It feels like a cruel joke has been played to my life. It feels like, you know, the universe is laughing at me. You know, oh, you didn't want to get married until, and you wanted to get married while you were young, but we're going to allow you to get old. I don't want a husband when I'm old. I wanted a husband when I felt still young, when I still looked young, when I still just, I know, it's a silly thing to be crying about, especially with all the things that's going on in the urban world today. I know that we got people losing their lives, and people was wishing they can sit here and live life to get married. I get all that. And maybe it's selfish for me to think how I'm thinking, and maybe it's silly to think how I'm thinking, but it's not that I can't help it. I think like I think, right? And I just feel like, you know, I don't know. I just thought that I was, you know, it's funny when you're with guys, right? And they always talk about your wifey material. But what happened? Why are you not husband material? You know, I wasted a lot of time on non-husband material. You know, guys who are just not providers and protectors, and I just wasted so much time. And then, you know, but then I think, like, how long would I have been by myself if I didn't put the time in, just for the time being, right? So it is such a weird and confusing life in that area of my life. But I'm ready to just let it go. And like, it's like I know it sounds like I'm giving up hope, but I'm not so much giving up hope, that I'm just giving more, I'm giving up the energy that I place in it. It's not that I'm giving up hope. If God still wants me to have a husband, I guess he'll provide him for me, right? Because I don't even know the right way to go about it. Like, okay, the Bible says your man should find you, and that you should, you know, be preparing your life. Well, I thought I was doing that. I have been, to me, a pretty decent woman all my life. And like I said, men have said that to me way often, but never been the right man. So it's like, what? I just don't understand this. So it's just too much energy from the time I was so young to the time I hear that I'm going to be 50 next year, and I didn't even get 49 yet. And it's like, what? That thing upset the mess out of me. I remember that happened when I was about to reach 42. I was like 38, and everybody said, oh, you'll be 40 next year. I'm like, what? I just turned 38, but they were right. So it's so upsetting, because it's like, can I enjoy my age? Anyway, I know I'm a crazy person, but it's just a thought, and I just wanted to come on and speak on it, because you don't know who somebody else might be experiencing what I'm experiencing. I know that God is good. I'm going to bring it to a positive light right now. I know that God is good, and I know that whatever my life is like, I'm thankful for it. Like, really, I am. I mean, I have both my parents. I have my son, my daughter. We're very pretty much close knit family when we ain't arguing at each other. But we're pretty much a close knit family. That's why we argue, because we're too into each other's face all the time. I have my grandson. I had a really nice time with him doing some paint. So he got out the pool in the backyard, and my godson was over there playing in the pool. And I know that my life is blessed. And so that's what I really want to focus on. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm giving up not so much hope, but so much energy on what I don't have. Because I really want to focus on the good things that I do have. So, and people keep saying, oh, you're just being bitter, or you're just, maybe not. Because I don't be feeling bitter. I be feeling like I'm tired of the energy. I'm tired of the energy placed in, am I going to get married? Am I going to find my husband? I'm tired of that energy placed in it. Am I looking good enough? Am I still feeling good enough? Am I still, I'm getting older. I can feel it. And so guess what? Now it's like, I might exercise. I might try to eat right once in a while, because I've been kind of acting up. But the thing is, the natural progression of life is that I am going to get old. Things are not going to stay in place like I want them to. They're just not. And I can see the evidences of that, and it starts to really affect me, because it's like, I don't want to have to pull my pictures out to me and my old husband. I got to pull the pictures out and say, this is what I used to look like. And it's like, obviously he'll just love me at the stage that I am, at the age that I am, and I get that. But it's probably a very vain thing that I'm saying, but it's a fact for my life. It's a realness in my spirit. So I'm only going to speak on how I feel. Like, it may not be everybody who feels like it. Some people just don't. It doesn't seem like it bothers them, but it bothers me. It really bothers me, And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It does. It affects me. So if I keep putting so much energy and hoping that God will give me my husband while I still feel and look young, then I'm probably going to be a very disappointed woman. So it's just best not to put the hope into that anymore. So I'm choosing not to, and just to focus on all the good things that are happening in my life, or the things that I can control. Because there are things I can control, but you can't control a human. I promise you that. It's funny. The other night, I was taking my godson somewhere, to his family house, and I was stopped. I was stopped by some guy who had a crush on me for a good while. That I guess I had heard it, but it's like I didn't really pay attention, because he's a very young guy. Like, he's 11 years younger than me, and I'm not that Stella that's trying to get her groove back. I never lost it, So it's like, and at the time I was with my ex-fiance, and I think at the time when the conversation that he says that we had, I remember being pregnant with the child that I had lost at that time, through a miscarriage. So I don't really remember him like he thinks I do. And that's so sad. But he said that we had this long conversation. But I'm a very friendly person. And I will talk about a lot of stuff. That's just what I do. It's like, we're just talking. But he took it as we had liked each other. And I'm like, I don't even remember. I didn't even know his name. I had to ask my daughter last night, what was this guy's name, because she knew him, because obviously this is my godson, and she knows that family. So I had to ask her, what is his name? But it's so funny, because I wasted a lot of energy. Maybe because then I would have been younger, right? Then I would have, my eggs probably still would have been working, well, they were obviously working better, because I was pregnant at the time, just didn't, flourish. And he had one child. His child is now 17 years old, and now he has two new children, two babies, like a 4-year-old and a newborn. Well, not so much a newborn, but a little baby. And so I'm like, okay. He says, this could have been you. We could have had our children. He just bought him this big old beautiful house in Pennsylvania that has all this room. I mean, he has all these bedrooms, but it's like new inside. It's really nice inside. And I'm like, and he's living, the way he says the neighborhood is so beautiful and the area is so nice. And I'm like, he said, and here it is. You kept pushing me to the side to be with that guy who was playing you, who was not really trying to give you what you really wanted, who would not take you down that aisle. And he says, I would have been ready to take you down the aisle. Why do people say that? Like, would you have been? Seriously? Whatever. But, I'm sorry. But I'm just saying, like, you just think, like, well, dang, did I miss an opportunity? Did I miss an opportunity? Because he was pretty young, Like, he's 11 years younger than me. And that, to me, seemed like a lot. Like, I don't want to be with somebody closer to my son's age. And yes, granted, I had my son in high school, but I still don't want to be with somebody closer to my son's age. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just a silly thing. Some people, I guess I have so many limits that I set, like, oh, this, I'm not because of this, or I'm not because of that. And maybe I need to reevaluate or just not put the energy into it anymore. Because I think that's really the thing. I'm not going to put the energy into it anymore. Like, I'm okay now. Like, a lot of women grow and never been married and grew old and left this earth. And I'm sure a lot of them wanted to get married. And then they got this thing back in the day. They used to call you an old maid. Well, they don't say that no more, but the stigma's still there, Men want younger women. They don't want you. So some of them didn't have children yet, or some of them are still looking to have children, and you kind of fall off the ladder. You're no longer the person that they're looking for. So for me to find somebody within my age group, and that's been pretty hard, because either they're sick, I hate to say it, but they're sick because they hadn't taken care of themselves, or they're it's just weird. It's just crazy. I don't know. Me and my friend talk about that. Like, the guys, it's very hard to find guys in our age group because they're still looking for very young women. And then it's very hard to be with an older guy because he really didn't take care of himself. And, it's like, now you be with somebody, was he going to wind up dying on you? You wanted to have time with him. I'm sorry. And I know anybody can die at any age. I'm not a fool. What I'm saying is that I guess I gave myself too many crazy, I don't know. What I do know is that I'm giving up on that part of my life. And I'm okay with it. And I don't need people to tell me, oh, you need to just get out more, you need to do nothing. I did all that. All those things they said that I should do, I found men who were no good. And so guess what? What, I want to find myself in that position again? No. And I don't want to place myself in a position where I might sin again. So it'll be easier just to not be in it. Just to not worry about it. Just to not be part of that whole, am I going to get married situation? And am I going to find the right guy? And how many more disappointments am I going to have to go through before it comes through? Like, it's... Oh, be with a guy who's evenly yoked. Oh, you can be with a guy who's not in your religion. Oh, be with too many people poking their nose up into what you should do, and you don't even, and then you get confused of what is the right thing to do. And it's like it became a thought, like, well, if he's a man of God, then he's a Muslim, or if he's this and he's that, why should that be? That was a question just recently asked to me, because I wanted to be evenly yoked. And how could I, serve with a man who serves differently from me? I don't know. I don't get it. Like, I want to believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I don't think I should ever give Jesus Christ up for a man. So it's really crazy. It's just too much. It's becoming just way too much. And then it's like, well, You need to be open up to a space with the age group, and you need to be open up to the space where it's like, I'm tired of just being open up to spaces. I don't even know. Oh, well, then find a man. And I have been disappointed by men of God a lot. Okay? A lot of times a man who is like a minister, a deacon, or whatever he is serving in a church, they look at you, they hear that you had 2 children, you never been married. They assume that that's what you're about. And they don't get that my whole life I've been mostly celibate, even though I had these 2 children. So, like, when you say, when you look at me, or you look at a woman who's a young woman who, never been married and have children, does not necessarily mean she's fast. It means that she just trusted herself to this one guy, things didn't work out, and now she has children from him.